Hi everyone and welcome back. Today it's Robin and we'll be delving into a captivating world of language development and a dynamic relationship between writing and oral communication. I've been digging deep into how writing enhances oral language skills and how this knowledge is a game changer for my students. Plus, we'll explore the art of choosing the perfect text for young learners. Stick around, this is going to be eye-opening. Okay, let's kick things off by unraveling the intriguing connection between writing and oral language development. Did you know that when we write, we're essentially rehearsing the art of speaking, the process of organizing our thoughts, selecting precise words, and crafting coherent sentences directly translates into oral communication skills. It's like a rehearsal for the main stage of speaking. For example, if you can imagine a classroom where this teacher tells this amazing spellbinding tale, afterwards, the students will discuss the story. They will use the vocabulary and the words from the story, diving into the depths and questioning its twists, making its inferences, and experience that enriches the vocabulary and it encourages critical thinking. All of this is essential to comprehension mastery. Conversations that ignite the mind is just a captivating example of a structured classroom discussion. So through meaningful conversation, students can learn to express themselves actively and listen and build upon ideas. It's like a symphony of minds coming together, fostering a rich atmosphere and comprehension growth. This is something that I like to do with some of the higher level students that I have. We play a game called It's a Desert Island. And on that desert island, they can only bring one thing. They have to decide what they're going to leave behind. And by rolling the dice, we start to make up this whole situation about us being on a desert island. And then the children start to wonder, was bringing my cell phone the best idea? It's that critical thinking and storytelling that gets really deep within inside their minds. Now, let's reflect on how a newfound insight can impact my students. Imagine engaging with writing exercises that prompt students to express their thoughts and ideas on paper. And as they write, they define their vocabulary and strengthen the sentence structure and gain confidence to articulate themselves more eloquently when speaking. This integration of writing and speaking skills is a powerhouse of overall communication and development. Now, this is something that I actually do within my language arts class. So within each topic, we make a poster. We've already learned about the vocabulary, we've learned about sentences, we've learned about, we've played games, so we know how to speak with the sentences. We've done a lot of oral work. So on the back of the poster, they need to write 5 sentences about the topic. So it's up to them what words that they want to use, but I try to encourage them to use words from the topic or from previous topics, and they can have their poster and they come up to present it at the end. This is using the writing skills for them to be able to correct the grammar, and then when they go to present, they present with perfect grammar because they wrote it down that way, and they practice this for maybe a sentence is solidified within their heads. Now, let's talk about choosing the right text for students. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. Different ages, interests, abilities, they call for tailored selection. For instance, let's consider a 10-year-old bookworm who's fascinated by adventures. I'd hand them a captivating fantasy novel that challenges their reading skills and stirs their imagination, maybe something like Harry Potter. Also, there's another website that you can use to even find out the level which your students are at. That website is called Lexi Style Hub. So you can find out there. I think they take a quick test about their reading ability, and then it actually helps you to choose texts, or helps the students to find level appropriate reading. This is something that I've noticed a lot within the teaching community, which I personally don't have experience teaching within America, but I know there are specific reading standards. And within the teaching community, I've seen a lot of teachers saying that these reading standard books actually don't work on a lot of phonics with the children, or they don't understand a lot of the sight words. This is something that I would be very interested to research more about, how we can navigate and find the right text for the right abilities, whether it's phonics or sight words, try to tailor it, but also to help them expand more on their reading literacy. When it comes to text formats, it's a balance in between digital, print, and so to help them expand more on their reading literacy. When it comes to text formats, it's a balance in between digital, print, and print. For instance, tech-savvy teenagers, a thought-provoking article on a reputable news website might ignite their critical thinking skills. On the other hand, tactile print magazine could be a wonderful choice for a young student, allowing them to flip through colorful pages and absorb information at their own pace. Actually, I was reading an article, Wong 2023, who said that actually misinformation within digital text teaches children how to think critically and how to help them become a better digital citizen. So actually using these texts and getting the children to discuss and say, actually, do you think this is true? Getting them to debate about whether or not they can find more evidence about the topic that they're learning about. I thought that was a very good way to use misinformation and teach what's right and what's wrong, or what's evidence-based and what's not evidence-based. Here's an example. If I have an 8-year-old student who's passionate about animals, instead of giving him a traditional book, I might select an interactive app that comes with engaging visuals, information videos, and an interactive quiz. This doesn't just cater to the age and the interest, but it also leverages the technology to enhance the learning experience. So I know within our cohort, our instructor mentioned that within one of her classes, she has a student that was struggling to read, and the best way that she was struggling to engage in reading, lacked interest, and the way that she combated that was actually by using ChatGPT. I thought this was a very interesting way to use technology and making stories about that student for that student to read. This really honed in on tailoring to a great extent, and it was such an easy thing for her to be able to provide for him. And I think that's something that I will definitely take, and I will start using this within some of my classes. For our young learners, imagine introducing interactive digital storybooks. This is something that actually my school has just brought out some brand new books called Show and Tell, and they are digital storybooks that combine visual, sound, interactive play, and it just whisks the minds of these young readers away, and they can read these books and then they can practice them, they make them into play. It's wonderful to see the company that I work for really adapting their curriculum. For a more seasoned reader, maybe you want to consider challenging them with something more thought-provoking. Some literary journeys expand horizons, enhancing analytical thinking and word mastery. So maybe you have a reader that's really finding, actually, I really love reading, I really want to get in there, I want to learn lots of new words. One student that I previously taught, he told me, I love reading and I love studying, and what I want to do when I'm older is I want to become a doctor. And he said to me, how could I do that? Or what do you think I could do to improve my English? So then when I become a doctor, I'll be able to, speak better English. So I did provide that student every class, because he wanted to, extra vocabulary about the medical industry. And I would send him articles about medical articles which were easier for him to understand, and videos about the science behind things, so he could hear them words being used, he could see them words, he could write them words down, he could write his own article, and he's doing great with it. So wrapping everything up, because this is a short video, we've uncovered the symbiotic dance between writing and oral language development is a powerful duo that's shaping the way that I teach. By integrating writing activities and nurturing confident speakers and articulating communicators, it becomes, when it comes to choosing texts, it's all about customization, a magical blend of age-appropriate content and personal interests. Remember, every word that we write, every sentence that we craft takes us one step